You know, the nice thing about this meeting tonight is we've been working on this for a period of time.
Talking for a while.
Trying to relocate the observatory someplace that's more suited than the park. The park was very well suited 20-some years ago, okay? There's, everything changes over time, and I know that from personal experience. We're getting to a point where the observatory would be better placed someplace else in the county. And we have other uses for the land at 2 Mile Run. So we've been talking, at least a few months anyhow, 6 months or better, about how we can make this thing be a win-win situation for everybody. And God has blessed us with a little bit of Act 13 money.
Yeah, that was really the impetus for
That
us.
was really the.
We have some legacy money that we can use for recreation
That
and
we,
parks and.
that's the thing it's supposed to be used for, and that's a good deal. And while it's not an absolutely done deal yet, it's headed in that direction. All 3 commissioners are on board as far as trying to make this thing happen. And I think we have pretty much an agreement in principle at this point in time, wouldn't you say, Jeff?
Yeah, and I think that, just to reiterate what Vince has said, this is something that has an idea that initially was maybe floated a couple of years ago, but, is something that has, been talked about a little more seriously over the last few months or so. And, just as the commissioners are very committed to this idea, finding a better site and something that benefits all of the stakeholders. I think that the Oil Region Astronomical Society Board is equally committed to that. It's one of the things that's very true about an observatory is it's just a darn unique institution or facility. And not everybody, it's kind of hard to explain, some of the requirements or some of the needs because they might seem a little bit weird that you need to have all your lights off, and the idea of having somebody come in and flash their light, and all of a sudden that messes up your vision for the next 20 minutes and you lose your observing time. And those are all kinds of issues that we try to work around. And certainly the park has been a great place to be. There are many advantages to being in the park, but I think that there are certainly things that have crept up more in recent years, and in particular, one of the big issues for us, I think, is of course goes back to lighting issues, and to our south, which is the best part of the sky. As you have build up along Route 8, which I think is a great thing for the county. It really helps things out. It's something because of the location and the position of the observatory right now that it's not so good for that particular kind of facility. So, I think that this is timely, so we are. I think as a board, we're looking forward to trying to finish out and figure out the details.
And when I say it's a win-win situation, it's a win-win situation in a lot of different ways. Number one, they can, as I'm torn between economic development. I'm not going to stop that. I don't want to stop that.
Nope. No, definitely don't. Sure.
And the educational aspect of your organization and everything, it's not all that far away, and it will serve more people in a multi-county area. I mean, people from Clarion, et cetera. And it's not, and I want to make this point very, very clearly, it's not costing Venango tax or county taxpayers anything out of their property, or out of the general fund. And that is really what the legacy money from the Act 13 Marcellus Fund has made this really possible. So I think it really, honest to God, is a very good project, and it will benefit both the county and your organization. And it will be open to county residents when there's not a fundraiser or anything like that going on. The details have not been worked out, I mean, but both the county commissioners and your board seem to be in pretty much lockstep as far as what we're talking about here. There's no, there's always bumps in the road because of lawyers, you know.
Yes, that's why we didn't let ours come tonight. Now, on my cap, he would have been here, but he couldn't.
Didn't you tell him 7:30? Yeah, he called me, I told him 9 o'clock. No, it's just it's one of those rare occasions where it is really, can be a win-win situation for everybody, so.
But the observatory is, I mean, it's not simple to move an observatory. It's a scientific and educational facility, but I think we look at this as an opportunity. I mean, as
Absolutely,
it's really an opportunity that's not going to come along every time, so we want to take advantage of it.
And I
That's
think
what we appreciate.
Yeah.
We appreciate your willingness to work, because there are, like, Tim said, there's a lot of different issues that have to be worked at.
But an opportunity, not necessarily just for us, which it is good, or for the park, but I mean, we think that it'll benefit everybody.
That's the same
That's-
thing.
I mean, it's not obvious, but the restrictions on the use of the area because of the lights are limiting to the park, and we can help in that regard.
Yeah, and I think
That's great.
that's I think the biggest thing about the approach, and let's all be frank, I'll be the first one to admit the relationship between ORAS and the county in previous years has not, we've had our struggles, and, and there's no doubt that that's there, but,
Well, it might have been there in previous years.
Right, no, and
But
I
since Bonnie came, we haven't had a problem.
Rainbows and unicorns.
Well, without going into much detail, I will say Dan was an excellent commissioner as well. So,
Yeah, well, and I agree with you. I was.
No, but I do think that, it's been a very positive atmosphere, since we first kind of set out on this path, a number of months ago, as far as, we'd like to try to see if we can find some common ground. We'd like to try to see if we can make this really a win-win situation for everybody. And I can say, in everything that we've done to this point, that's been the atmosphere, and we have worked, and I think, we really have found a situation where we think that this can be a very positive, winning situation for all of the stakeholders. I mean, Vince had mentioned the idea of the location, although we can't, at this point, we can't discuss the specific location. It would be in Pinegrove Township, and
As long as it's in Venango County.
yes,
that's
it
all I
will
want
be
to know.
it will be in Venango County. And it will be, we're talking 15-minute drive from Oil City, 20-minute drive from Franklin, not any different than the current situation for the most part. And 30-minute drive to Clarion. So, we're looking at, how can we work better with the university to, improve educational opportunity. So it really is a win-win, I think, situation. That's the way we're approaching it moving forward.
Tim, what I can't really imagine though, is I remember when it was first talked about, when we were raising money, I think Con Air.
Con Air was an incredible
That's
partner.
where I worked,
Yep.
and I can't believe it was that long ago.
I have thought about that many times. It's been 20 years.
Yep. A lot of history. A lot of history, that's correct.
I think John and I were both there slopping around in the mud when we laid the rebar and then relayed the rebar because we had messed it up for the project. And
You
so,
didn't do that at night, did you?
oh yeah, so we had worked late in the evenings, and so yeah, there is a lot of rich history there, and I think that like like I said before, being at the park has had its access, or has had its benefits, and certainly has its benefits. But, I think we have found a situation where we improve the educational prospects, where we improve ORAS's ability to meet its educational and science goals. And at the same time, I think in doing so, I think we really do free up and help the park to meet its objectives and its goals. I mean, obviously, the park has very limited resources. The county has very limited resources. And, we realize we're a drain on that.
You're a minor drain on that, but,
Right.
I mean, and I think, my long-range plan goal, I'm going to give to Rich, actually, is to get to the point where the park doesn't cost the Venango County taxpayer a single penny. It doesn't cost very much now, I mean, in the overall scheme of things. And we're close to being there, and maybe Rich can give us an idea for some of the things that we have in mind long-term for that area up there.
Well, the overall goal of the area up there, we were looking to put obviously a horse camping area, a permanent horse camping area in. We've looked at 3 or 4 other areas. And you're talking to put a facility in, like a campground for these folks. I mean, it's costing big bucks. And the area up where the observatory is, along the trail, perimeter trail runs right through there. It's easily accessible, it's flat up there. We've already got the water, electric, and stuff up there. So, I mean, in the long run, it's still going to cost some things to put the sites in, but they've got several more kind of laid out there, as you guys know. And I think, and the amount of horse traffic that we're starting to get up there in the last year or two is really, we've got people coming from all over. So that's really picked up. So I look at it as again, it's going to be a benefit to the park and the county and the bucks that are coming in. And then if you guys find another spot down here, just as well, it's great.
And it has not been an adversarial relationship since I've been commissioner. I mean,
No.
not as I didn't cause it not to be, don't get me wrong, but, there's no adversarial.
No, and I, like I said, I think that the times that we have come together and we've been in face-to-face meetings and we've been working through this, it has been a very collaborative atmosphere. And I think, it's what happens when you really kind of set a common goal, and you have people that are working toward a common goal that's beneficial, not just to one side, but beneficial to all sides.
But it's beneficial to all the residents of Venango County and beyond, really.
Yeah.
When it really comes down.
Well, right, and that's what we hope to be, is even, a greater benefit.
And don't you think, one part of the story that we want to stress is that we believe that to the people who have supported the society over the years, given their strong support through thick and thin, we believe that they will benefit more from the next phase of the Astronomy Society project. We think that it will be better for everybody.
And probably in the next 20 or 30 years, if we have to go through this again, I'm not going to have to worry about it then, but.
So,
Is there any questions for, is there any concerns or, I think if we just let the process work out the way it's currently working out, and we get this done in pretty much a hurry, actually. Right?
and I think one of the reasons that we wanted to do this meeting with the press, with the news, was to just be very transparent. But this is, something that's out there. It's certainly not a done deal. We're certainly, I think, like Vince was saying, on the same page. But, I think that we have some things to work out, and we'll probably be some bumps in the road. But we hope to resolve things very soon and kind of get moving forward. We have, as from ORAS, from the Astronomical Society's perspective, we have done a lot of investigation. We do have, I think like you mentioned, we have an individual who's willing to donate some property to the cause, who's asked to remain nameless until all of the details are figured out. We have a great partner in a local architect, Dave Strickland, who who's working with us to do, all of the design work for what potentially would be the new facility. And, we're certainly going to be, the community here and the region has been incredibly supportive. And we, what we want to do is try to make this facility, if it can happen, the best that it can be. And so we are certainly, I think the funds that come from the county are going to go a long way in making this happen. What you've been able to tap into as far as those types of funding. But we're certainly going to be, hoping for, some additional support and some things through the county. And we want to make this a partnership project. The first Observatory 1 was a partnership project all the way. Vince from Con Air to Wayland Contracting to Woodcraft and Concrete, just everything was, all about building a partnership. And, the second observatory, the second phase will not be any different. And if we can have a rich partnership with the community like we've had in the past, this thing will be an amazing facility for you, your children, your grandchildren to come visit.
And my great-grandchildren.
And your great-grandchildren, that's right. I don't want to stop short. But I don't know if any of you guys have questions?
I have a quick question. So, I kept saying you guys are going to talk about letting it play out. What does that mean? I'm a specifics kind of guy. What happens next then? Are you just waiting for an answer from someone? Is that it, or
Not necessarily.
There's some details that need to be worked out.
The thing is, we have here's the way I would put it.
this is a verbal agreement that you're making?
We have an agreement in principle to go through this. And Tim said, for the sake of transparency, there's going to be people that like it and people that don't like it. It doesn't really matter.
Yep.
The thing is, it's a good deal for both sides, okay? The things that have to be worked out right now are really in Rich's hands, and to draw up the actual paperwork and you to get the person that's going to donate the land comfortable with what's going on.
Right.
But there's no areas that we've talked about thus far that are contentious in nature.
Right. And so I think that the details are really kind of for Mike Hadley and Rich Winkler to sort out and, try to get things into a language that everybody is comfortable with. Certainly for example, I'll give you an example of something that we are working on. Something that would have to be the case would be that we would need to have a tax exemption on the new property so that, this is an educational facility. If we look at ORAS's annual budget, it's the property taxes would be 50% of the annual
I
budget.
took a few sides.
So,
there's not a lot of
yeah.
no fees for the observatory.
So that's something that we're working on, and and the county has been great with that. And now we've started talking with the school district, and we've started talking with the township a bit, and they're very interested in hearing more and talking more. And so, but I think those things are going to be resolved.
When you say school district, all of them, or just a specific?
Well,
Only the one that is really in wherever the location.
right. So it would be up to Cranberry Area
Sure.
School District,
Yeah,
and Maria Pappas has been great, and their solicitor has been, or their financial person there has been. We've been in discussions with them both here.
And I don't sense any problem with that at the county level.
And,
County tax.
Looks a great asset for any school district to have nearby.
That's right.
Yeah, and so, and certainly, what we want to be able to do is to, show these folks how, we're benefiting their students, and not just Cranberry, but other ones, because maybe there'll be another sweet little addition to the project, and I won't talk about that right now, but with one of the other schools.
You already have
We're
plans for the
surprised.
future.
We're talking.
I think one of the important things, we keep talking about, benefits both sides, and it's not the relationship we have now. There's history, but the relationship we have now, the current players who are involved, is not an adversarial relationship.
Absolutely not.
So we're working together to get through this and come up with a solution.
Tim, is there a timeline for any of this?
Well, I think that the timeline is, like I said, I think that's going to be between Rich and Mike. I suppose if it could be done quickly, I'd love to be breaking ground in the fall.
Well,
But I don't know that, where we are on all
Well, let me put it this way, from the commissioner's standpoint, I'm talking for Tim, who's not here, and I'm gonna talk to Bonnie, and she'll correct me if I'm wrong. The sooner the better.
Yeah.
Okay, I mean, and I don't mean that anyway, there's no reason that, if Mike and Rich can get this worked out quickly,
that. Right.
it's really in the hands of the attorneys right now.
Don't they charge by the hour?
Pardon?
I said, don't they charge by the hour?
Yeah, but you don't pay them, so it doesn't matter.
So they pretend to work and you pretend to do.
So, we certainly anticipate this once things get up and underway. I can tell you that having Dave Strickland on board, our local architect who knows and works with all of the people, inspectors and all of this sort of stuff. And I met with him this afternoon and talked about some things, and he's making his calls and all of this, and trying to get everybody a better picture of, okay, you're going to need this inspection, you're going to need this, and you're going to have to make sure of this. So he's really helping us with a lot of details. It's been 20 years since I've been involved with a major construction project, and so a lot of things have changed. And so he's very familiar with this area and what needs to be true. So he's certainly helping us with the background. I think once we do have a go-ahead, we break ground. The first observatory took us about 3 years. This one, we're hoping about 9 months or less from breaking ground. And that's kind of the timeline that we'd like to be on. And we'll certainly see where things go. But I think the basic details are, once the observatory is built, we'll move all of our equipment and everything out of the existing facilities and get things set up. And we'll have enough cushion within a timeline as far as when does the current lease that we have terminate, when does it end?
Pretty much, I have to just clarify that a little bit. It was 9 months, it's a year. I mean, there's no push from the county to say it has to be done
Right.
in 9 months. We want it done as like you do, as fast as possible, but there's no real restriction on that. And basically, I think we've agreed that once you move the equipment out, that's when the existing lease terminates.
Right.
So,
Right. So it may take, I'd love to stick to 9 months, but it may be something that's longer.
but we're flexible as commissioners, for sure. At least I'm flexible, and I think Bonnie and Tim are also.
But and if this is truly a mutually beneficial thing, which it really is, ORAS, not that, not that we're running from our facility, we might be running to a better situation. So
Once
I think
people,
that-
I hope we hope in the near future we'll be able to see instance, a rendering of what the
Right.
new facility will look like, and people will quickly see that a modern facility will better serve everybody. It will be handicap accessible, which the existing facility is not. We'll have the better educational spaces to have classes, an entire class come in, or a scout troop, or a church group, or something like
We
that.
won't have a bathroom.
Have a bathroom.
Which,
Having an enclosed
No more-
area for
no more
classes.
poison
that
ivy in your
people
private
work around.
The thing is that this is a good opportunity for a fundraiser for you folks also,
yes, it is.
and so.
And
What
then
happens to the old building?
It would be turned over to, well, it's owned by the county, it's just that we would vacate it, and the
We'll still
county-
own the county will still own the new building too.
Okay.
I mean, at that point, I mean, so that's not lost in translation, so. It's just using the county assets in a better way than, in a changing way. It's not as better than it was before, it's just times are different.
Rich, do you think there's a use for that building, a multi-purpose use, something to repurpose it, or do you guys think you'll clear it out?
Oh, no, the building will remain.
Yeah,
There's so many things that, besides, not only we talk about horse camp and stuff like that, but several of the scout troops in the area have talked to us about doing the jamborees up there like they used to and things like that.
Well, we haven't really gone to that, from the county standpoint.
No,
we
yeah.
haven't gone
No,
there.
we haven't.
I was just wondering
but
whether
it's-
there was still use. I guess my question was whether the building is still practical and
Yeah,
has
sure,
use.
absolutely.
There's a massive concrete monolith in the center of that thing too, that goes down.
So long after
8
history
feet.
is over, they'll still be standing.
Maybe.
1,000 years from now, somebody's going to say, what was that?
Like when we walk through the woods now and see all those old artifacts
Yeah.
around.
Yeah, so the open part could be closed in, right?
Yeah.
I know that.
So, yeah, and I think that there are, those are all sorts of questions, I'm sure, that are in the back of people's mind, but certainly haven't come to the forefront. But certainly, there would be many uses for that building out there. Whether you're having groups come out who, want a pavilion and actually want an actual space where they can go inside as well. If you're doing a family reunion, it's an incredible place to just do a family reunion and get away from everything, and you have an inside thing if you're going to have your own food, and you have the pavilion, so there are many uses that I'm sure would work there.